Hello friends, இந்த வீடியோவில் நம்ம பார்க்க போகிறது optimization technique linear programming problem. Okay, actually this video is going to be bilingual, so kindly view in both Tamil and English. The explanation contains the both Tamil and English language. So what we are going to see is the optimization technique, linear programming problem, the graphical method to solve the LPP problems. Graphical method la eppadi solve பண்றதுங்கறத பார்க்க போறோம். First of all, in linear programming problem, when to use the graphical method? When to use the graphical method to solve the linear programming problem? In a condition, what is that condition means? If the number of variables in any LPP, linear programming problem, is only 2. If it contains only 2 variables, then we can use the graphical method to solve that problem. If it is more than 2, we cannot use the graphical method. Okay, so the variables ரெண்டு இருந்தா மட்டும் graphical method யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். அதுக்கு மேல ரெண்டுக்கு மேல வேரியபிள் இருந்ததுன்னா அப்போ நம்ம graphical method யூஸ் பண்ண முடியாது, இருக்கிற வேற மெத்தட்ஸ் தான் நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ண முடியும். Okay, so when to use the graphical method? If the number of variables is only 2, then we can use the graphical method to solve it. Okay, types of linear programming problem. In any syllabus, what are all the types means? First type is maximize problem. The objective function, that means the z equaled அப்படின்னு வரும் இல்லையா, அது வந்து either maximize problem or minimize problem. These are the two types of linear programming problems. In this video we are going to see maximize problem. In the second video we are going to see the minimize problem. Okay, so how to solve the maximize problem using graphical method, அதுதான் இந்த வீடியோவில் நம்ம பார்க்க போகிறோம். Directly we go to the sample problem. Solve the following linear programming problem using graphical method. Maximize. What then a problem? What kind of problem is this? Maximize kind of problem. The objective function z equal to 6x1 plus 8x2. Subject to constraints 5x1 plus 10x2 less than or equal 0. Since it contains two variables now, so two constraints. Second constraint is 4x1 plus 4x2 is less than or equal 40, where x1 and x2 are greater than or equal 0. That means both are positive values, non-negative variables. Okay, this is the problem that we are going to solve using graphical method. Problem இந்த மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும். Okay, solve the following. In this in the line இருக்கு இல்லையா, this maximize z equal to 6x1 plus 8x2. z இது வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா this is objective function. This is called objective function. Subject to these two statements, இந்த ரெண்டும் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா these are constraints. These are constraints. Okay, okay, before going to solution, graphical method. In graphical method, few things we have to remember. In graphical method we are going to use the non-negative constraints are introduced. Okay, x1 and x2 both are greater than or equal to 0. So in the optimization la, we are not going to say positive values, we are going to say non-negative constraints. Either positive, we are going to say non-negative. Instead of positive the term, we are going to use this. Okay, இந்த ரெண்டுமே வந்து non-negative அப்படிங்கிறதுனால, so we will eliminate. Graphல 4 quadrants இருக்கும். We have 4 quadrants in graph. We are going to eliminate second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrants. So eliminate all 3 quadrants and use only first quadrant to solve the problem by graphical method. So which quadrant we are going to use? Only first quadrant. From that first quadrant itself we are arriving the optimized solution. Okay, so what are the steps? என்னென்ன ஸ்டெப்ஸ் நம்ம ஈஸியாக ஃபைண்ட் அவுட் பண்ண போகிறோம் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, அந்த graphical method, the first step is to finding coordinates from the first and the second constraints. given constraints, two constraints are there. From the first constraint and the second constraint, individually find the coordinates. That is the first step. Then second step is plot graph, mark those coordinates and draw lines. What lines? That we are going to see in while drawing the graph. Then third step is find the feasible region. From the graph, find the feasible region in the graph. For maximize problem, since this problem is maximize type, the feasible region is closed polygon. For maximize problem, the feasible region is closed polygon. அதான் வரும். The graph நீங்கள் வரையும் போது ஒரு closed polygon கிடைக்கும். அதுதான் வந்து அந்த feasible region நம்ம எடுத்துக்கணும். Then after obtaining the feasible region, அது கிடைச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் calculate the objective function for each corner points of the closed polygon. So closed polygons க்கு corners கிடைக்கும் இல்லையா, அந்தந்த cornersலையும் வச்சுக்கிட்டு z value, objective function, the value of z that we are going to calculate for each corner points x1 and x2 is there na, we are going to calculate, and final optimized solution is arrived at the final step. After calculating this objective function, we are arriving the final optimized solution. What is the condition here itself? Since this is a maximized problem, okay, so solution with the maximum z value is selected as optimum solution. For a polygon, if we are going to have four corners, in the sense 4 objective function values கிடைக்கும். We are going getting array 4 values கிடைக்கும். From that, select the one which is having maximum z value. That is the optimized solution for maximization LPP problem. So here it is, we are starting the problem. To solve the problem, computing coordinates. The first step is finding coordinates on x1 x2 plane from first constraint. What is the first constraint in the problem? 5x1 plus 10x2 less than or equal to 60. அதை நீங்கள் எப்படி எழுதிக்கிறீங்கன்னா equal to 16 எழுதிக்கிறீங்க. Just take it as 5x1 plus 10x2 equal to 60. Just convert this, assume this. In this equation, first step, apply x1 equal to 0. First என்ன பண்ணுங்க, x1 0 னு apply பண்ணுங்க. Assume x1 equal to 0. What it comes? 5 into 0 plus 10 into x2 equal to 60. So இங்க பார்த்தீங்கன்னா x2 value கண்டுபிடிச்சிடலாம். 5 into 0 is 0. Just eliminate it. 10 into x2 equal 60. x2 equal 60 by 10. x2 value is 6. So similar, then second step, now apply x2 equal to 0. Now what you are going to apply? x2 equal to 0. So apply in the constraints, 5x1 plus 10 into 0 equal to 60. From this we are going to get x1 equal to 60 by 5, which is equal to 12. So from the first constraint, x1 equal to 12, x2 equal to 6. So first constraint க்கு coordinates x1 equal to 12, x2 equal to 6 னு find out பண்றோம். Okay, similarly, so there is a second constraint இருக்கு. இப்போ பாருங்க, computing coordinates on x1 x2 plane from second constraint. Second constraintல இருந்து நம்ம எடுக்க போறோம் 4x1 plus, what is second constraint? 4x2. 4x1 plus 4x2 less than or equal to 14 இருக்குல்ல, equal to 14 assume பண்ணிக்க, equal to 40. Similarly, first stepல now x1 equal to 0. இது என்ன பண்ணும்? 4 into 0 plus 4 into x2 equal to 40. இங்க என்ன கிடைக்கும்? x2 equal to 40 by 4, which is equal to 10. இப்போ பாருங்க, now then take x2 equal to 0. Apply x2 equal to 0. 4 into x1 plus 4 into 0 equal to 40. இங்க இருந்து from here x1 equal to 40 by 4, which is equal to 10. So from second constraint, values we got? What values we got from second constraint? Coordinates x1 equal to 10, x2 equal to 10. So first step completed. Completed the first step of finding coordinates from the first and second constraint is done. Now we are going to plot the graph. So here this is our graph. எப்படி வரைய போகிறோம், how we are going to draw ஒயிட் பேப்பரில் வரையும் போது ஒரு சென்டிமீட்டரும் ஒரு பாயிண்ட்ஸ்னு ஸ்கேலில் நீங்களே வச்சு ஜஸ்ட் யூ ட்ரா அக்கார்டிங் டு த கோஆர்டினேட்ஸ். எவ்வளோ லென்த் தேவை அப்படிங்கிறத நீங்கள் டிசைட் பண்ணுங்கள். ஹவு மச் லென்த் யூ நீட் that you decide based on coordinates. How far x1 will go? x1 is equal to 10 in one constraint and 12 in other constraint. Okay, then x2 is equal to 6 and 10. Okay, so based on that constraint decide the length. How to now this x-axis means for x1 axis. x1 axis in graph, this is the first quadrant. This is first quadrant. The x-axis is take it as x1, and the y-axis this y-axis is x2 axis. Okay, vertical x2 and horizontal is for x1. Plot பண்ணிட்டோம். Then now for first constraint, what is the points? For first constraint x1 is equal to 12 and x2 is equal to 6 from the previous solution. So mark the first constraint coordinates. x1 is equal to 12. x1 is equal to, so x1 is 12 and other first constraint line, that first constraint itself x2 is equal to 6. Okay, here 6, x2 line 6. Now what you need to do means just join these 2 points using a scale as a straight line for first constraint. So it is joined. Then mark the second coordinate, second constraint coordinates. x1 equal to 10, x2 equal to 10. Similarly mark the points and again join these 2 points using the scale. Okay, ஒரு straight line just again join பண்ணுங்க. So in the end, from in x1 and x2 plane we draw both the coordinates for constraints. For this line is for 5x1 plus 10x2 less than or equal to 60. This line is for this constraint, and this line is for 4x1 plus 4x2 equal to, less than or equal to 40 for this constraint. Okay, just need to mark. Now what is the second step is over. Plotting graph, marking coordinates and draw lines. அது முடிஞ்சிடுச்சு. That is over right now. Third one is finding feasible region. For maximize problem, feasible region is closed polygon. Okay, just find the corners of the feasible polygon. Which is closed region here means the origin ஒட்டி வரணும். Just select this area which is near to the x1 axis and x2 axis, not this and not this. This region is the feasible region. For maximize problem, the feasible region will come just from the origin near to this place. If it is minimize problem, it will go outside infinity. Okay, maximize problem பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் உள்ளதா வரும். Mark the points from origin. This is A, one of the corner, and this is B, second corner, and this is C, third corner, and this is D. Okay, this is the closed polygon, and the closed polygon and the each corners, from the each corners you are going to get the values of objective function. So then what you are going to do in the sense, you just write it as feasible region. Mark it in your graph, mark the feasible region and hatch the region using pencil, hatch the region using scale. This is the feasible region. In the mari just are going to hatch the feasible region, and from each corners A, B, C, D, get the coordinates of those corners. And each corners la coordinates எடுத்துங்க. இப்போ A ல பாருங்க, it means x1 value என்ன, x2 value என்னன்னு எடுக்கணும். Okay, இங்க நான் உங்களுக்கு ரைட் பண்ணி காமிக்கிறேன். I'm going to show here. For A it's 0, 0. For B, what is this? X1 is 10, X2 is 0. Correct? X1 value 10, but X2 0. For C, just use the scale and mark. It's D, and here it comes as a straight line 2. For C, 8, 2. Just verify it using the scale. Just make it approximate as a round figure. 8, nearly 8. Just take it as 8. And 2, exactly 2. So X2 is 2 and X1 is 8. Then D. In here X1 is 0, X2 is 6. This is the corner points that we are going to use in the calculating objective function values. Okay. இப்போ அதை எப்படி calculate பண்ணுறது? The corner values எடுத்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் how we are going to calculate in the sense what is the objective function? Z is equal to 6x1 plus 8x2. Just calculate Z of A. In the A, what is x1 and x2? In this A point, 6x1 is 0 plus 8x2 is 0. So this is the objective function. Z equals 6x1 plus 8x2. Objective function. You are going to apply this. What is the value? Totally 0. Okay. Then ZB. 6x1 is 10. x2 is 0. 60. Then Z of C. 6x1 is 8. 8x2 is 2. 8 into 2. 6 into 8. 8 into 2. So finally it will come 64. Then Z of D. 6 into x1 is 0 plus 8 into 6. x2 is 6. 0, 6. Here 48. So this is the fourth step, calculating the objective function for each corner points of closed polygon. Number fourth step complete. We completed our fourth step. Then finally the final optimal solution. We are having four kind of solution: 0, 60, 64, 48. Which is optimized? How we are going to calculate? Already I told in the steps in solution, for maximize problem, the solution with the maximum Z value is selected. Which is having maximum Z value? Is at C. See, 64. Okay, so this is the optimum solution obtained from the graphical method for this LPP, linear programming problem. Okay, so here the optimized value, not maximum, not minimum. The optimized in the sense the profitable. Optimized value enna meaning na labagaramana, the profitable, the optimized solution. Optimized solution is C point. Okay, C. That means C corner point. So Z is equal to 64. How we are going to sense Z optimum. Direct நம்ம எழுதக்கூடாது, just write it as Z optimum equal to 64. Okay, Z optimum equal to 64. Okay. Then x1 is equal to 8 star, make it star in the superscript. That means optimum x1 is equal to 8. Then optimum x2 is equal to 2, 8 comma 2 in the coordinates. This is the final optimized solution you arrived in the graphical method. இதை எப்படி தான் சால்வ் பண்ணணும்? ஓகே, இந்த ப்ராப்ளம் நான் வந்து என்னுடைய எம்இயில் மாஸ்டர் ஆஃப் இன்ஜினியரிங்கில் ஆப்டிமைசேஷன் டெக்னிக்குங்கிற ஒரு சப்ஜெக்டில் படித்தேன். ஸோ இந்த கைண்ட் ஆஃப் ப்ராப்ளம் எங்கே கேட்பாங்க, வேர் இட் வில் கம்ஸ் இன் த சென்ஸ் எம்இ எம்.டெக் ஆர் எய்தர் wherever it comes as a linear programming problem. இந்த வீடியோ வந்து உங்களுக்கு யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும் நம்புகிறேன். Just I hope this graphical method will be understood for you. Kindly give me your support through your subscription. I will do the minimize kind of problem LPP for this graphical method in the next video. So meet you in the next video. Thank you.